Open your fridge right now. You'll likely find soda, yogurt, leftover pizza, and fruit flown in from the other side of the planet. But to your ancestors, none of this is food. So, what did they actually eat? The answer would horrify most people alive today. Scientists have found proof in caves around the world, proof that changes everything we thought we knew about our own species. But to understand it, we have to go back to the beginning. Roughly 3 million years ago, your earliest ancestors were not hunters. They were scavengers. When a lion killed an antelope on the African savanna, it ate the best parts first, the muscle, the liver, and the heart. Then the hyenas came in for the rest, crunching through the ribs, the skin, and the smaller bones. By the time our ancestors got there, what was left was scraps. These were thick leg bones, bones too thick even for hyena jaws to break. And this is what our ancestors ate. Their signature meal was bone marrow. Early humans would creep up to a stripped carcass, grab the thickest leg bones, and smash them open with stone flakes called Oldowan tools. Inside was marrow, gray, slick, dripping fat. They scooped it out with their fingers and ate it raw. For our ancestors, this was a feast that no other animal could get at. They ate the brains, too. A cracked skull holds almost a pound of solid fat, the most calorie-dense food in the animal. For an ancestor living on scraps, a skull was a jackpot. This is why your body still treats fat like treasure. It still remembers. We also ate insects, termites, grubs, and beetles. Fat white larvae the size of your thumb crunched like shrimp. For over 1 million years, insects were not a last resort. They were dinner. But what came later changed everything. Fire. The oldest human fire ever found is inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, dating back about 1 million years. Once we had fire, we had cooking. Cooking is essentially pre-digestion. Raw meat and plants force your gut to do hours of chemical work to break them down. Cooked food is already partly broken apart, so your body spends less energy digesting and pulls more calories out of every bite. Scientists believe that as our ancestors started cooking, their guts shrank. That freed up huge amounts of energy that went to one place: the brain. The brain is only 2% of your body weight, but uses 20% of your calories. You cannot run that machine on raw leaves and termites. You need cooked, fat-rich food. Cooking gave us our brains, and our brains gave us everything else. By 300,000 years ago, your ancestors looked much like you do today. They were eating almost everything they could catch, dig up, or reach. The menu included mammoth, bison, wild horse, fish, shellfish, roots, wild grains, berries, nuts, and mushrooms. They also stole eggs from nests and sought out honey, especially honey. The Hadza, a tribe in Tanzania, still eat the way humans did before farming. About 15% of their calories come from wild honey. They climb dangerous trees and get stung hundreds of times because nothing else in the wild packs that many calories into one bite. That exact same craving is still alive in you today: sugar. Your brain is wired for it because for hundreds of thousands of years, sugar gave your body instant energy and extra fuel stored as fat. That fat was the only thing that kept you alive when food ran out. A dripping honeycomb was the richest meal most of your ancestors ever saw. This is the program running inside you right now. Your body cannot tell the difference between honey in a tree and a donut. That same biological code is running inside you right now. Soda, candy, cereal, sauces, and even most types of bread are essentially sugar wearing different disguises. That is why you find it nearly impossible to stop eating them. Your body is still trying to store fat for the next time food runs out, even though that day never comes in the modern world. But sugar wasn't the only thing your body got hooked on. Your ancestors also learned to crave meat. A single mammoth carcass could feed an entire tribe for weeks. One successful kill saved hundreds of hours that would have otherwise been spent gathering berries and digging for roots. This saved time became the foundation for human progress. Time to raise children, teach new skills, make better tools, and tell stories around the fire. This is why your body still craves protein today. Every craving you have was shaped by what kept them alive. However, there was one craving we still have trouble admitting to each other. In a cave in England called Gough's Cave, researchers found human bones from about 14,700 years ago that told a horrifying story. The skulls had been meticulously cleaned with stone tools. The faces and bases were carefully removed, and the remaining top of the skull was shaped, rim by rim, into a cup. The long bones were cracked open in the exact same way your earliest ancestors cracked open antelope bones for the marrow. This wasn't a result of starvation. The same cave contained plenty of remains from horses, deer, and other animals. A 2017 study calculated that a human body provides about 125,000 calories. In comparison, a single bison holds 600,000, and a mammoth offers 3 million. Humans were not efficient food. They were a choice. One forearm bone found at the site was carved with a zigzag pattern after the meat was gone, indicating this was a ritual. Similar remains have been found across Europe, in Germany, France, Spain, and Croatia. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans did this to each other, and not always to survive. Somewhere in our history, we decided it meant something. It gets even stranger. Your ancestors didn't just eat fresh meat. They ate rotten meat. When a hunter killed a large animal and couldn't eat it all at once, they buried it, stashed it in caves, or hid it in cold streams for weeks or even months. By the time they returned, the meat was crawling with maggots and smelled of decay. But they ate it anyway. Some researchers believe they even preferred it that way. Rotting meat has already been partly broken down by bacteria, making it easier to chew and absorb. These bacteria even produce B vitamins that your body needs. Your body still remembers this. Every fermented food you love today, cheese, yogurt, sourdough, beer, wine, soy sauce, and pickles, is essentially controlled rot. These are processes of decay that have been slowed down and made safe. Your taste for cheese didn't develop in a modern dairy. It developed in the savannah 100,000 years ago while eating something far worse. Every craving you have today for fat, salt, and sugar is still running inside you. Your body doesn't understand grocery stores or refrigerators. It only knows one rule. Eat what is rich. Eat what is rare. Eat while you can, because tomorrow there might be nothing. When you open the fridge at 11 p.m., even though you aren't hungry, you are running a 3-million-year-old program. It is still scanning, still trying to keep you alive, but the world it was built for is gone. If you were dropped into the world of 50,000 years ago, you would likely die in days, unable to find water or recognize food. But if you dropped a human from 50,000 years ago into your kitchen, they would think they had walked into heaven. They would think they had walked into a god's pantry. They would not understand any of it. A cold, sweet drink sealed in metal. Bread that someone else baked. Milk that sat sealed and fresh for weeks. Fruit from places they had never heard of. Food that nobody had to chase. It would look like the richest place anyone had ever walked into. For 3 million years, every human who ever lived was hungry, cold, and tired. You might be the first one who isn't, and you have no idea how rare that is.